It's all about humanity.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm reacting to a accident that happened in Texas, Houston. A shootout on elementary school. They're like 7 years old. They got shot.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, a horrific scene in Texas. A gunman opens fire at an elementary school, killing 14 students and one teacher after he shot and killed his grandmother. Thank you for joining us. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
And I'm Ellen Leyva. You're watching Eyewitness News at 3 live on ABC 7, Hulu Live, and wherever you stream. And that breaking news, another mass shooting in the United States, this time at an elementary school in a small Texas town. 14 children are dead along with their teacher. Students seen running out of classrooms when the gunfire broke out. This school massacre happening in Uvalde, Texas. It's a small town of less than 20,000 people. It's about 80 miles west of San Antonio. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand is live in the newsroom with more on this breaking story. Jory.
Ellen, Colleen, this is another dark day for this nation. We are awaiting a press conference from authorities in Texas that could happen at any minute. But this happened in the small town of Uvalde, Texas. If you haven't heard that name before, it sadly will now be known the same way we now know the city Sandy Hook. An 18-year-old high school student from Uvalde entered Robb Elementary today with a handgun and possibly a rifle as well, and shot and killed those 14 students. This school was second to fourth graders, so we're talking 6 to 10-year-old kids. The gunman also shot and killed a teacher, and the governor of Texas reporting that 2 law enforcement officers were also shot, though they survived. The shooter also apparently shot and killed his grandmother before heading to the school. And
this guy kills his grandmother, then he goes to the school and kills 14 children. But I think he killed more like 19. Yeah, he killed 19 children. I saw like today. But the accident occurred like yesterday, I think.
Carrying out this rampage. The shooter himself was shot and killed. We are still awaiting word whether it was law enforcement that did it or whether the shooter killed himself, but we are told that members of Customs and Border Patrol's elite tactical unit happened to be in the area. They raced to the school and responded to help. One of those officers was one of the 2 officers to be shot, but again, 14 students dead as well as a teacher.
When parents drop their kids off at school, they have every expectation to know that they're going to be able to pick their child up when that school day ends. And there are families who are in mourning right now, and the state of Texas is in mourning with them for the reality that these parents are not going to be able to pick up their children.
It was just under 10 years ago that a similar shooting took place at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut. 20 students were killed in that attack, along with 6 teachers, and in another striking similarity.
I saw in the news like 19 children, but confirmed is like 14. Man, he kills his grandmother, then he goes to a school that he doesn't go, he's 18, not like 8 or 7, and go kill them, and the teachers. Like, why?
The shooter in that case shot and killed his mother before carrying out the attack. There were calls for gun control after that shooting. There was a bipartisan effort in Congress to come up with legislation, but in the end, Republicans shot down those efforts. And
and I heard, like, when I opened like the computer, I saw like this guy put a message on Facebook that he's going to kill somebody on the school, but he didn't say what school.
Nothing has been done to address this problem in the decades since. There were 60 active shooters at schools in the United States last year alone. Right now, there are families in Texas still holding out hope that the child they cannot locate is simply somewhere else but still alive. There was a reunification center, but for more than a dozen families tonight, their child will not be coming home. We heard one father looking for his 10-year-old daughter, McKenna, ask one of our ABC News reporters where the funeral home was in town because they couldn't find her anywhere else. Authorities are waiting until all families have been notified before releasing details about the victims' names and ages again. We are awaiting that press conference to learn more. Reporting live in the newsroom, Jory Rand, ABC 7.
This guy is so Like what? Yeah, like 19 and 2 children. Like
America, here we are again. This is not a new nightmare. It is
9, 10, totally helpless, totally harmless, shot in their own classroom. That image should really burn in people's memory as to we shouldn't have to relive Sandy Hook.
Officials say the alleged gunman, Salvador Ramos, also shot his own grandmother before attacking students at the elementary school.
What happened in Uvalde is a horrific tragedy that cannot be tolerated in the state of Texas.
Among those who lost their lives, 10-year-old Javier Lopez, who was in the 4th grade, his family sharing this photo with us this evening. 19 students were killed and 2 teachers, including 4th grade teacher Eva Mireles.
School has children that are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade.
2 responding officers were also shot but are expected to survive. Officials say the alleged shooter was killed by responding law enforcement.
oh, so the guy also shot the police. So they killed them. He killed them. Yeah, smart. He just wanted to die. The moment he shot the police, they will kill him.
Mr. Ramos, the shooter, he himself is deceased and is believed that responding officers killed him.
Good evening, fellow Americans.
Tonight, President Biden speaking to the country on yet another mass shooting, just days after 10 people were killed in a grocery store in Buffalo, New York.
I'd hoped when I became president I would not have to do this again. Another massacre. Uvalde, Texas. An elementary school. Beautiful, innocent. 2nd, 3rd, 4th graders.
The rampage began late this morning. Officials say the alleged shooter shot his grandmother, then turned to the school at 11:32 a.m. local time.
An 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle.
There's a car crash outside Robb Elementary School. The suspect, we're told, is immediately engaged by a Uvalde Independent School District police officer. And that doesn't stop the shooter. He's wearing body armor. He shoots the police officer and then makes his way inside the school.
We need to respond to South Grove and Mill Street to establish a perimeter.
Multiple state and local law enforcement, FBI, ATF, and Border Patrol racing to respond. Sources say authorities have recovered an AR-15 style rifle and numerous magazines. The school, with some 600 students, locked down. Reportedly, students crawling through windows to escape. Parents desperate for any information.
We just hear all kinds of gunshots going off, like nonstop, like constantly gunshots. And then we're over here all scared on the ground, fearing for our lives.
In the mayhem, families trying desperately to reunite with their loved ones. One father here searching for his 10-year-old daughter.
If we could get to the funeral home.
Why would you ask me that?
Because we can't find my daughter.
What does this say about where we are right now? I mean, this is a small town, man.
Pretty sad. Really sad. I don't know what this world's coming to.
We're also learning more about who committed this heinous attack. Officials say the alleged killer, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, was a student at Uvalde High School. He's believed to have acted alone. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News they're investigating possible social media accounts linked to the alleged shooter, which include images of guns and other violent material. Law enforcement also telling ABC News that he reportedly sent videos and photos of guns to users on various social media platforms. One user saying that last week he showed himself with guns, making statements like, "Wait till tomorrow."
Law enforcement is collecting every piece of information they can get their hands on in reference to social media, friends, associates, families. What did they see? What did they hear? My guess, even by now, they've probably got a pretty good picture of who he is, what motivated him, and how he acquired, like, this AR-15.
How do you want to see the profile of the shooter?
Located 80 miles west of
the big story.
San Antonio, Uvalde is a small town with just over 16,000 people living here. Robb Elementary School has about 600 students in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades. The school's last day was supposed to be this Thursday. The close-knit community tonight feeling the shock. Today's shooting comes amid what seems like an explosion of violence across the country, just 10 days after a racially motivated mass shooting in Buffalo, New York, where another 18-year-old killed 10 people, all black, at a Tops supermarket.
He shot a woman, he shot a deacon, he shot another woman, and then he went in the store and started shooting again.
This tragedy also drawing a parallel to the horrifying mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, nearly a decade ago.
His brain is fucked up. Like, what?